Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Adult Child of Dysfunction. Today, you have just your host, Tammy Vincent. And the reason I came on today is because you hear a lot of the word authenticity. Everybody's telling you to live out your authentic life, to be yourself, to not to step out as yourself authentically, boldly, bravely. And somebody asked me the other day, how do I know if I'm doing that? Like, what are some things I can ask myself to find out if I am really living my life out authentically as my real self? Because so often when you grew up like a lot of us did, you kind of lost who you were. You were for so long told what to say, what to think, who to be, how to act, that you lost contact with the real you. You lost what your true values were. You lost what you love to do. And so I came up with a list. If I had to come up with 10 things, and I just wanted to keep it kind of simple, so I only came up with 10. I could probably come up with 100 more, but I wanted to come up with 10 things that I would ask myself if I wanted to kind of gauge where I am in that version of the authentic me, right? So I'm going to give you the 10, and I'd love to hear back what you think. So, number one, are you making decisions based on your true desires, or are you trying to meet other people's expectations? Meaning, if something comes into your life and you want something, do you just answer from your point of view, or are you constantly seeking approval and trying to think about what other people are going to think of you depending on your answer? That's number one. The second is, do I feel a sense of peace or fulfillment with the way I live my life? And a good example of that is if you're sitting there at night and you have to say, okay, how was my day? What do I think about my day? Do you feel peace? Do you feel a sense of just happiness and joy and just fulfillment? Or do you have the should haves or what ifs or could haves? Or I always say, you've heard the expression, don't shit on yourself. Don't shit on yourself. I should have done this and I should have done that. A lot of times, if you have those thoughts, or if you say, gosh, today would have been an amazing day if I had only blah, 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 then some exploring to do. And again, this is meaning no judgment, absolutely no judgment. I just want to kind of give you a starting point and a place to start when you do question, are you living out life as your authentic self? And so that is another question you can ask yourself. The next one is, when was the last time I felt truly alive? What was I doing? When was the last time? Think about it. Close your eyes right now. Think about the last time you felt what you consider pure joy. When you were alive, were you dancing? Were you smiling? Were you laughing? Were you with your friends? When was the last time that you lit up? Guys, we were all born with this beautiful light inside of us. And somehow throughout life, people blew out that flame or they tried to blow out that flame. But guys, that light is still there. And it's the things that you do that bring you joy that light that light. So, what is it that lights that light in you? Think about that and think about the last time you did that. Because if you're doing it more often than not, then you're living authentically. If you're not, then start to go out and do things that make you feel truly alive. The next one, and this is a big one for all of us chronic people pleasers out there. Do I say yes to things I don't want to do just to avoid disappointing other people? People pleasing is one of the things. Someone asked me yesterday on a podcast, actually, what is the one habit that followed you into adulthood through all of your 30 years of healing, through all of your 30 years of work? What is the one thing that keeps plaguing you, that keeps coming after you? And I had to say, it was saying yes when I wanted to say no, because I didn't want to disappoint other people. That is the thing that keeps jumping up at me. And I work on it. I work on it every day. But learn how to say yes, because people pleasing is really nothing more than a sign that you're not honoring your own needs. So if someone says to you, hey, you want to go out and get a pizza? And you say, no, let's go get Chinese food. There you go. That's sticking up for yourself. It's voicing your opinion. And it's not just going along with what other people want you to do. So that's number four. Number five, am I surrounded by people that accept and love me for who I am? And that meaning, if you go into a crowd and picture yourself going out with a group of friends or going out with a group of coworkers, Can you be your true self? Can you go out and can you laugh and joke? And, I think I'm pretty funny. Other people might not. But I don't have a problem going out and saying my silly jokes, whether or not people laugh. Can you do that? Or do you find yourself getting into a crowd and kind of conforming to who you think they want you to be, or kind of just changing yourself a little bit so you fit in a little better or you're liked a little better? If you find yourself doing that, then it's time to reevaluate those friends. It's time to think about those people because they're not the people that love you for who you truly are. The people that love me for who I truly am know that I'm a little crazy, know that I might just karate chop my son in the middle of nowhere or just start to dance in the middle of a room when I just feel a little giddy. Those are the people that I want to be around. Those are the people that I don't feel dumb doing that in front of. I don't feel silly. I can just do it and I can feel that they love me and support me for who I am. Number six, do I set and uphold boundaries that protect my energy and well being? And this is a big one. Boundaries, whew, I could talk for days and days and days and weeks just on boundaries. But are you able to set those boundaries? Are you able to uphold those boundaries when someone violates them and stand up for yourself so that you don't end up feeling violated or less or just unprotected? Because when you have boundaries and you set them and you uphold them, it raises your confidence. It makes you more secure in yourself. It makes you more secure in your own being. And it makes you feel like you are living out your own self. So it also means respecting yourself. And that is a big part of the healing process. When you've had your boundaries violated all of your life, you kind of lose respect for yourself and you don't believe that you are worthy to stand up for yourself or withhold those boundaries or tell people what you think. But once you learn to really respect yourself and learn to know in your heart and deep, deep, deep in your soul that you deserve to be able to tell people what you think or have people respect those boundaries, you're well on your way. The next one, number seven, is if I had no fear of judgment or failure, like if I really didn't care what the outcome was in any situation, would I do things differently? This to me should be number one because so often we spend so much time holding ourselves back for fear of what other people are going to think of us, for fear of failure, for fear of making a mistake, for fear of condemnation. I mean, whatever it is, whatever you're afraid of, if you don't be your true self because of that fear, you're holding yourself back. So you have to look and question, what am I doing to hold myself back? What would I do differently if fear wasn't an option? What would I do differently if I didn't care if I failed? So ask yourself that. Am I doing things differently? The next one is, at the end of the day, do I feel more energized or more drained by my daily life and my routines and my commitments? How many times throughout the day do you think to yourself or do you say to yourself, man, if only I could? Man, things would be better if only I did. If only I had. That's the if onlys. And really, what that means is that your life is draining you. Your life is not fulfilling you. If you're constantly looking at what you could be doing if you weren't in the situation that you're in now, then it might be time to reevaluate. This could be a job. This could be a relationship. This could be a friendship. This could be anything. But if at the end of the day, you're feeling drained instead of energized, then you're not living out your authentic self because we were put on this earth to be joyous, energetic, lively, spontaneous, fun, happy, whatever it is. But all of those things that we were put on this earth to be all include energy. They all include abundant energy. And so you got to look at that. Is your life draining you or is your life enriching your energy and raising your energy level every day? The other one is, do you trust your intuition? Do you follow your intuition even when it goes against logic or outside opinions? We all have an inner voice, right? It's our instinct. It's our gut instinct. It's what is truly what we think, what we believe. And when you hear something and somebody asks you a question, and the first thought is, wow, I'd really like to do this, or, oh, I don't think that's good. Do you trust that? And do you follow that? Or do you follow along with everybody else? And do you conform to what you think that people want you to say or think? Guys, our intuition is one of the biggest gifts we have. And some people are more in tune to their intuition, and some people really struggle with it. A lot of the people that really struggle with it, and believe me, I was one of these myself, I struggled with it because my whole childhood, when I tried to go with my intuition, I was told I was wrong. I was told it couldn't be the way. I was told I couldn't do that. If I thought I had a really positive, dream for myself and said I could do this, I was told, no, you can't. So I stopped trusting my intuition. And when you stop trusting your intuition, of course, you don't follow it. You don't go with what your gut tells you to do if you think you're going to be wrong. So I encourage you, start trusting your intuition. If something pops up and you think about it or want to do it, just go with it. Know that it's from the bottom of your soul and it is your your inner being that is telling you that it is right and it is good and it is for you. So start to trust that a little more. And this is again, um, just questions to ask yourself. Am I doing that? Or am I squashing that intuition because I think it's wrong? Or squashing that intuition because someone has told me that I can't, or I might not, or I shouldn't have. This is a big one. And then the last one is I want you to picture yourself and maybe sit down tonight and journal about this. But 10 years from now, if I keep living my life exactly like I am I going to feel proud and fulfilled, or am I going to feel empty? Maybe that should have been number one. I don't know. But think about that. Think about that for a second. If you just keep doing what you're doing every single day right now, acting the way you're acting, talking the way you're talking, conforming the way you're forming, having relationships the way you have them, 10 years from now, are you going to be proud? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be fulfilled? Or are you going to be feeling like you're lacking or that you should have and have the should haves or the could haves or the would haves or the might haves, all these things that are keeping us from being ourselves. We don't want those. Someone asked me one time to write my own obituary. And whew, was that ever enlightening and profound? Because at that point in my life, I didn't have anything to say. It was just I lived, I died. There was no more. And I kind of made it like my life's mission to fill that story, to fill that obituary, to fill those years so that I have something to talk about, something to be proud of, and something to fulfill. So those are the questions. Now I'm going to kind of review them. And I'm also going to put these in the show notes so that maybe you can write them down, journal about them, think about them. Because these are the things, like I said, these are the 10 questions I would ask myself if I really wanted to know if I was living out my true self, if I was being authentic, or if I was still in the habit of conforming and being what other people wanted me to be. Was I still in the habit of saying what other people wanted me to say? So I'm going to recap them. Okay, number one, and I'm just going to not talk about them now. I'm just going to recap them. So maybe they'll stick a little better in your mind. But like I said, go to the show notes. They'll be in there so you can read them and really think about them when you have time. I know this is quick. So one, am I making decisions based on my true desires or am I trying to meet other people's expectations? Number two, do I feel a sense of peace and fulfillment with the way I live my life? Number three, when was the last time I truly felt alive? What was I doing? Number four, do I say yes to things I don't want to do to just avoid disappointing other people? Number five, am I surrounded by people who accept and support the real me, the honest to God real me? Number six, do I set and uphold boundaries that protect my energy and well being? Number seven, if I had no fear of judgment or failure, would I do things differently? And number eight, do I feel more energized or drained by my daily life and my daily commitments? Number nine, do I trust and follow my intuition even when it goes against logic or outside opinions? And last but not least, but most importantly, if I keep living the way I am now, will I feel proud and fulfilled 10 years from now? So those are some questions you can ask yourself, guys. Go ahead to the show notes, write them down, journal about them. And if you want to talk to me about them and see where maybe you're struggling, or maybe you thought you were there and you're not quite there, please book a chat with me. Let's talk. That's what I do. I help people get back to that original them, to that divine, beautiful, happy, joyous creature that they were born. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and sometimes you don't know why you're stuck, but that's what we're here to do. So go ahead, reach out. I would love to talk to you about it. And until then, I hope you start living more authentically. Hope you have the faith to know that you are absolutely amazing and you deserve everything good in life. And if you don't have it, it's out there. It's out there for the taking. You just have to go out and grab it. So start today, do something for you. Love you guys. Bye.